the individuals that I was a part of, and that was like my greatest lesson learned. You know, so making that transition and coming home, I just never looked back. You know, I never wanted to be on no corner. I never wanted to be in no environment that I felt wasn't serving me. I realized that we making choices based on our limited mindset, based on our thought process, based on what we see. So once we step outside of what we see and open ourselves up to a broader world, those choices aren't there anymore. Now there's other opportunities for you. So I choose the other opportunities. I came home, went and got my bachelor's degree, I went and got a job because guess what, man? I make more money working a 9 to 5 than I was hustling. You know what I'm saying?
Make your job your
Get my
hustle.
money hustling,
I've
but
been saying
working a
that
nine
for
to five,
years.
I didn't have to look over my shoulder. Yeah, I had to pay taxes. Yeah, I had to be, frugal with my cash and be mindful of it. But that's the world of being an adult. You know what I'm saying? Paying taxes, being frugal with your money, knowing what to spend your money on. And I'm here today to tell about it. Man, most people that come home from jail, most people that I've been incarcerated with, aren't doing. Not to say I'm doing the greatest aspect of my life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The recidivism rate is high.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because some people always want. Most people just want to be accepted.
Right.
They want the fast cars. They want the clothes. They want the women. They want the alcohol. They want the substance abuse. They don't want the responsibility of paying bills. They don't want the responsibility of going home every night, getting up in the morning and doing the same shit every day. That's tired. It's boring.
Mm-hmm.
But that brings longevity.
Right.
So I learned that. That's who I am.
Right now, when you was incarcerated, before you
Facts.
got out, then you started
I'm
visualizing
28
life.
years in the
Before you
game
got
on
out,
my
a lot of guys say they already have
on my
something mapped out.
employment.
So when they hit the
You
streets
know,
running,
so he's speaking
it's a little
facts.
easier for them instead of going back, keeping the same habits they had when they was in prison.
You know what it was? Incarcerated is 1,000 war stories people tell.
Right.
Everybody's the man. Everybody got the glamorous story of who they was prior to being in here.
Yeah.
But then you come home and you see them and you like, what happened to who you used to be?
Yeah.
You know, I got a life charge at 16,
Damn.
right, for drugs. So I used to look out the window like, when given the opportunity, I'm not coming back. Given the opportunity, I want to put my feet in some sand. Like, I never went to the beach prior to going to jail.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Word.
So to hear people say that they was, people older than me say they was on vacation and stuff like that, I was like, bro, I've never been on vacation. Like, I met a dude who told me he had a boat and a Honda Accord in his own house. I was intrigued by it. Like, you got a boat? Okay, cool. Like, all right, that's the life I want to live. I don't care about the flashiness that most people get caught up in. I want it to be like, I want to live my life. Like, I want to enjoy life. Too many people aren't making it because they want to live somebody else's life.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to live nobody else's life. I wanted to live a life I can enjoy. I came home. I traveled the world. I got 2 young boys. I take care of my kids. I'm very family orientated. I love my friends because there's very few of us. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I love them. I reach out to everybody who I care about, and I do that on a consistent basis. And I'm happy.
You said you got incarcerated at 16, got a life sentence at 16 years old for drug charge. We sat in ARAB's trial a couple years back. We got a chance to sit there firsthand and watch everything that was going on, and the defense absolutely dissected the prosecution. They didn't have anything on them yet. Here we are, and here we stand. ARAB is sitting there probably for the rest of his life behind bars over a nonviolent charge. Talk about your thoughts on the legal system, and at the time when you were going through what you were going through, just how unjust it may have felt, or how your case was even presented. Did you feel like they had anything on you to put you or even charge you with life? What was that experience like going through that?
Back then it was the drug laws that if you get caught with a certain amount of drugs, it's automatic life sentence.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, the legal system is a messed up system. Their guidelines were, unconstitutional.
Yeah.
But I'm not complaining about the system because, like my mother told me, you put yourself in that situation. So that system is, at this present moment as a man, I don't care about the legal system.
Yeah.
Because I'm not putting myself in a situation where that legal system is an issue for me.
Right.
That's not a problem for me no more. But back then it was a problem because I put myself there.
Yeah.
I was out there doing wrong. I was out there selling drugs. I was out there being a product of my environment. And being a product of your environment, like anybody gonna tell you, like I would tell my kids, going to jail, getting robbed, and dying or some of the outcomes that you have to look forward to. And when you met with those outcomes, you got to own that. Yeah. I owned it. I did my time, and I ain't never got to look back.
Take us back to, at what age did you find out that your dad was actually Rich Porter? And obviously knowing who he was, but knowing who he really was. And what was your emotions like at that age, finding out who he really was, what he meant to people?
I had uncles that would always keep me abreast of who he was. Okay. But my mother is a strong black woman, so she shielded me from that stuff. You know, money and material things didn't matter to her. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So nothing about what he was doing mattered to her in the sense that it mattered to me. You know what I'm saying? It might matter to the people around everyone else, but my mom's taught me better than that. And she raised me better than that, to not need or rely or depend on situations of that magnitude. So, you know, I was young and hearing about it, and, you know, I wasn't even in awe of it until I started to come in the streets at like 11, 12. Then it was like, oh, okay, wow. You know what I'm saying? But by then, my father was already dead. You know what I'm saying? He had passed away already. So, but I was in awe of it. But then as I started to hustle and move around myself, it was like, okay, I see what people, you know what I'm saying, what intrigues people about this lifestyle. Mm-hmm. Back then, money was easy. You make $10,000 a day just coming outside. Now you make $1,000 a day. Mm-hmm. So there was a difference back then.
Absolutely. So you say you did 12 years?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you go every decade, shit changes up. I mean, you look at the phone and how it's evolved in the last 10 years and how social media is how that evolved. So going in and coming out, how did the world around you change?
The barbershop was the new block. I didn't know how to use a cell phone, credit card, debit card, an ATM machine. Things changed drastically. But you know what changed the most to me?
At Five Below, you get the bag and everything you need to make it your own.
Morals and principles got watered down. You know, I grew up, and you know, the individuals that I hung with, we was a tight-knitted individual. You know what I'm saying? Tight-knitted group. Yeah. We cared for one another. We supported one another. We loved one another. You know what I'm saying? Your brothers gonna fight for you. Like when I was in trouble, they was coming to school for me. Like, yo, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If I had some beef, they was coming up. Yo, what's up? Who? Mm-hmm. Where you at? Now you can't call somebody to save your life. Mm-hmm. So that's what I came home to. Yeah. So things changed drastically. I think the morals and the principles of life has been watered down, and I think that is because, once again, we want to be carbon copies of what we see, not understanding the magnitude of what it takes to be that person.
Moving forward a little bit, let's talk a little bit about hip hop. What's your perspective of hip hop? Because even when you went in and it came out, hip hop was different.
You know, I didn't take music seriously. This is entertainment, right? Back then, you know, Busta Rhymes, yeah. That was entertainment. You loved that. You know what I'm saying? You had Ja Rule song on the radio or something like that. You had DMX on. You had Lox, Nas, AZ. You know, this is entertainment. You know, Cameron. These are these were entertainers to me. Like, we loved their music. I never really gave light to their lifestyle. I enjoyed their music. Nowadays, I feel like people are making music to be synonymous with their lifestyle. Right. Like, you're an entertainer. Like, entertain us. I want to hear some good quality music. Right. Make me feel good. Make me vibe when that.
All right. What's good? You know, how y'all doing on a Friday night? You know, August is a festive month. And I say that because everybody damn near that I love in my family birthday is in this month. And, you know, my niece started it off August 2nd. Then my mother and father anniversary was on the 6th. And then I had a few friends. One was August 1st. Shouts out to you know who you are. And then we fast forward. My mother-in-law, hers was August 10th. Then my wife is August 14th. and my soon-to-be daughter-in-law, my son, brother, older brother, his girlfriend is today, and then next week is my grandbaby, and then the week after that is my son' birthday and his uncle. Then we got Dr. King that got shot, I think on the 30th, something like that. Not Dr. King. Michael Jackson died on the 30th or 28th, something like that. So just a lot going on in this month that we need to recognize. But we're listening to Rich Porter's son, you know, and he just giving his perspective of who his dad was. So he's saying that his mom's kind of kept him from, you know, who his father was, So obviously, she was you know, she came from a good family, and uh, so it wasn't a issue of them needing things, and so she was able to shield him from who his father was and the game of the streets. But one thing about children, they grow up. Children are around their own set of friends, and you get privy to information once you out and about. When you go to school, people talk to you and tell you things. He like, man, you know who your dad was and this and that. So now you intrigued that your dad was this dude, was that dude, as parents, we try to keep our kids from a lot of just mishap, and but they're gonna find out about it one way or another. And I think the more you shield them, you just try your best to instill the good behavior trait. Because I feel like if you don't raise your kid and teach them discipline and home training early on between that age of 5 and 10, by 12 years old, their mind is already made up. You know what I'm saying? And, it's going to be hard to get them kids in check and for them to do what they need to do. So that's why when an absentee parent is not around and then you try to come later on in a teen life, they not listening to nothing you talking about unless it's welcome. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of time that child or children, they angry because you wasn't there. They went through a lot of hard times and watching mom struggle and this and that. So you just showing up ain't welcome, and then you trying to put the discipline down on well, I'm your dad or I'm your mom, So, but like he just said, at 16 he started wilding and getting money, and it put him 12 years in a penitentiary. So what's that? He got out at 28, and he ain't looked back, And once you in jail, thank God, knock on wood, I haven't been, not for no long stay. I think I was, you know, put in like, and I'm about 15 at the time, so it was nothing. It was like a overnight or a couple of hours, and we was joyriding and didn't know the vehicle was stolen, because you know how that go. A homie come around the block with a ride, and he like, come on, let's ride. I'm like, you ain't thinking nothing of it. And then that's why it was just a few hours because we didn't steal it. The person that did, they had to uh deal with that situation. We ain't had nothing to do with nothing. And so they called our parents, and we came home that night, like into the wee morning hours. I think we were stopped and taken to the precinct probably by 11ish. We were out by 3, and so it wasn't nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, we just try our best to instill the right things into our kids so they can do what they need to do and not let nobody influence them, give them the game. So when somebody come to them with some BS, they know how to see it and smell it from a mile away and tell whoever, man, get on out my face. Or even a young lady that's, trying to run game, thinking she got a sucker or something. You be like, look, get on out my face. I ain't that dude. I'm not the one, that's gonna let you, rock me to sleep like that. So yeah, so it is what it is. So Rich Porter's son, Rich Porter Jr., that's who you hear speaking right now. And again, happy Friday. We're it's football season. I don't know who ready for football. I know I am. And I'm a I keep saying Redskins, but they Commanders now. And they Commanders now. So we got a new quarterback, and got a new quarterback, and new owners, new everything. Everybody is on point, and it's a new beginning. I heard that RG3 just got fired from ESPN. He had 2 years on his contract, so they gotta pay him for that. So he ain't walking with you know nothing out of his pocket. You know, yeah. So they're gonna break him off for that 2 years of money. So he ain't worried. RG3 is he went to Baylor University and he's a lawyer. Um, got paid good money as a football player before he got hurt. And I think we would have went to the Super Bowl, but he did get us a division title, and Kirk Cousins got us a division title. So we know what it is to be at the top and be in the Super Bowl. And we've been in 4, won 3, and then early on, before they called the championship a Super Bowl, we won 3 of them. So, you do the math and add it all up. So, we just know what winning look like, even though we ain't been winning for a few years, man. But it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? You know. Yeah, yeah, so I'm just freestyling. So uh I put the title of what it is because Paid in Full was about Alpo and Rich Porter and AZ, guys in Harlem, New York, you know, in the 80s. They used to come down to DC and, Alpo, if you know his story, came down to DC and, basically stepped in when Rafer went to jail. Rafer Edmond and Rafer Edmond is out now. Those that know who he is, do your homework to look him up. Um, 34 years in the feds penitentiary. and he's out. He not in witness protection. He ain't changed his name. He looked good like he been out for a few years, but I don't think he gonna come back hanging around DC like Alpo was in New York. You know, he not gonna be stupid and get comfortable like that because somebody, you know, who he told on relatives or somebody that his people might have did in, you know, or anything that could go wrong, it's gonna go wrong for him if he's slipping and just not being mindful of where he at and what's going on. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. You know, it ain't the DC that he left. This is a whole different DC. You know, when he left, loyalty meant something, and right now, loyalty don't mean nothing to nobody at this point. You know, being a rat and telling it's like it's common now. Nobody hold that sacred no more. You know what I'm saying? Because you know it ain't. You know, one the laws done change. You know, and I think that got a lot to do with it. I think that got a lot to do with why, you know, like, you know, back in the day, you went to jail, you was gone for 5 years, maybe 10 tops. Now you getting 30, 40, 50 years. Don't nobody want to be gone that long, you know, from their loved ones and everybody dying off, you know. So, you know, I just feel like, you know, and then people changing, the culture changing, and you know, so at this point in time, it's okay to tell in some places, in some hoods, and in a lot of places, the tradition of not telling is still sacred. So depending on who you are as an individual, that's what you're gonna do, and that's who you are when that time comes. And then you got to deal with the consequences. You know what I'm saying? You got to be ready for what's coming with that. You know, if you decide to tell on people, you know, when you in the game and you doing dirt with everybody, and then you get caught up, you know, everybody telling them because they don't want to be doing 40, 50 years. That's out. 5 years, 10 years, you know, the average person gonna soldier on. They're gonna stand 10 toes. But when you get to talking 30, 40, 50 years, the culture nowadays is not built like that, like them dudes was back in the day. You know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of them guys that doing them type of numbers like Rafer and Big Meech and all them guys went to jail rich, and they still got money somewhere. They people still got money, so they good. So they owned it. They wore the S on their chest. I'm that dude, you know. I'm that dude. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this. I'm gonna do this time, and God be with me. If I can make it out, I make it out. But if not, then that's what it was meant to be. And Big Meech said in a documentary, I don't regret nothing I did. It made me who I am. I made myself famous. I made myself rich. And that's what the average person is trying to do in life. You know, is set their family up good. And I did all that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and now, which is so good about Big Me's story is that 50 Cent then got a hold of his story because it was so fascinating and put it in a TV series. And what's so crazy about it, the timing is great because Big Meat's son is playing him and doing an excellent job, knocking it out the box. And so basically, when he get released soon, he'll be coming home to a legal life because of his life story. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's just so fascinating, you know. But I was gonna stay here an hour, but I'm gonna cut this one short because you know, got things to do, and I'll holler at y'all later. I might come back and finish up. I'm 25 minutes in. So yeah, I'll come back and give you another 30, you know what I'm saying? And probably another 40. I'll give y'all another 40. And yeah, and uh and we'll continue to build on Rich Porter Jr. and his journey, uh, what he went through in the streets once he got out there and then realized that he was a product of a great young man that life was taking, and like the average drug dealer, and yeah. And so yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back to kick it with y'all. It's Friday night, no work tomorrow. We up. So yeah, I gotta pick my son up around 12 or 1. So I'm up. It's 10:30. Let's go, do some other things, spread it out. So I'll see y'all in a few. Peace. Like, share, subscribe. Big Dave, Streets Finest. You know what it is.